Hello,
G'day, Matt.
how are you?
I'm very well, mate. This is very interesting on a hot summer's night, talking to you on what looks to be a quite dark night down in Melbourne.
Yeah, I'm actually in my car. I've just been sitting down by the river here, feeding the ducks. I didn't get back to my house in time. I lost track of time, but I thought it's a great time to talk about CSL with what's happening at the moment. Obviously, the vaccine production's flying ahead. They've already started manufacturing without having any safety things finished or anything else. We actually have someone that works at CSL in the live tonight as well. I think
We've had a
I don't know if she,
as well. We've had a CSL whistleblower contact us, and I'll just say this:
yep,
um, get everybody should jump on. If there's people watching tonight, they should grab other people to get on because we are about to blow this billion-dollar company out of the sky in defence of
yep,
Australia. Happen tonight. Matt, we can kill time and talk about things as well. You just told me when you're ready to do this because, as you know,
yep.
CSL announced and the Australian government announced yet another $1 billion of taxpayers' money thrown towards this company, CSL, to build this $1 billion vaccine factory in Tullamarine. Now,
Yeah, it's
here's
crazy, a crazy amount of money. And it's like without any consultation, without any putting it out there to the public. Not that they do that with everything anyway, but they're talking about an infectious diseases center for Australia without knowing if there's going to be any more pandemics. Like a pandemic's a 1 in 100 years supposedly thing. And they're building this giant building to do it. They've already got the plasma blood center out at Broadmeadows and whatever else. Um, what are your thoughts about the new building getting made? I'm just going to invite some more people while you chat.
my thoughts are that CSL cause pandemics.
Yeah,
CSL
definitely.
cause problems, and in fact, taxpayer money going to this company at the level that it's gone, billions and billions and billions of dollars of Australian
Yep.
taxpayers' money. It was our asset. People should know that CSL was formerly ours. We owned it. It was called the Commonwealth Serum Laboratories before a very dubious sale, a privatisation in 2000, in 1994. Why on
Yep.
earth would we ever sell our blood plasma fractionator slash medicines developer? Why would we do that? Now, that's a
Yep.
very interesting one because now we're going to lead into something. I just want to ask your audience something. It goes like this. Do you think if we're going to give $1 billion of our taxpayer money to this company, yet more billions, do you think they should have something called a duty of candour? Does anyone
Yep.
know what a duty of candour is? It's actually a protection, isn't it? It's a further protection for the Aussie taxpayer, for people like you and me, right? And
Yep.
so it's the hope is that we're saying, look, CSL, you're taking $1 billion of our money, and you're going to you're going to make sure, and the government's going to make sure that we can't catch trains, planes, or go to any event basically without one of your products being stuck into us. So what we do in Australia is we say, you know what, when we give you our dough, we're going to need to have some duty of candour. Is there anything we need to know? Okay, so is there anything about these COVID-19 vaccines? And they should, if there's something there, they have a duty of candour. By law, that's the contract with us, right? They've got to tell us. I mean, we get penalised if we don't accept their vaccines. We can get
Yes.
sanctioned. Okay, so what about, is this a two-way street? Do we have law or is Australia a bit lawless? Okay, so duty of candour. So CSL have victims.
Yep.
They infected 1,750 Australians with HIV and hepatitis C in the 1980s from their contaminated medicines.
Yep.
One of them was called Factor VIII. This is a mass pool blood product that you and I have discussed. Okay,
Yep.
now what happened was there was a global contaminated blood scandal. People were infected by these Factor VIII products that CSL made and other countries made. They were infected in the UK, they were infected in America, they were infected in Canada, they were infected in Ireland, France, all around the world, okay?
Yep.
And all these countries had inquiries, and when they saw what had happened, that basically all these countries were mixing blood. I mean, America was exporting prison blood. Bill Clinton,
Yeah.
when he was governor of Arkansas, was knowingly exporting blood that's come from prisoners. These guys were shooting up
Crazy.
drugs, donating blood, mate, right? And this
Yeah.
blood's being into blood supplies all around the world. So they had these inquiries and they decided we've got to give financial assistance, we've got to give help to these people who've suffered HIV and hepatitis C from being given these mixed blood products, right? But in Australia in 2004, we had a Senate References Committee into hepatitis C in the Australian blood supply. Look it up, guys. Or you can go to infectedbloodaustralia.com and you'll see it there, right? Okay, so I said under oath, because I take my oath to Australia very seriously. I love Australia, right?
Yeah.
That CSL had been mixing, like a lot of these companies at the time in the 1980s, well, it was then government run. So this is an Australian government cover-up in conjunction with CSL, right? I said that they had been mixing foreign blood into Australia's blood supply. Okay, so what they did was they told Australians, we're self-sufficient. That's why you give us all this taxpayer money to give you self-sufficient blood supply. We don't mix your blood with foreign blood, okay? We have a voluntary donated Australian blood supply. Okay, and I said they hadn't done that. They've mixed it with blood from Hong Kong. They've mixed it with blood from Malaysia, from Singapore, from where they had contracts to also make their blood products. They just put it into all one big vat. We've got a whistleblower CSL saying they used to open the sachets from Southeast Asia, just bung it into the one vat. Blood from Hong Kong, where they knew, the Australian government said in their own documents, we don't even bother testing it from there because we assume it's all got non-A, non-B hepatitis, the killer strain of hepatitis, the whole lot. So they threw it in. Then they didn't use viral inactivation techniques, okay, because they worried about the cost of such techniques and drops in yield of end product, thinking like a commercial company, right? This is when the CSL was government owned, okay? So they mixed this foreign blood in and they infected 1,750 Australians knowingly with HIV and hepatitis C. And yet when they were under oath, CSL, at this Senate inquiry, under oath, it's an offence to lie to the Australian Senate under oath. They said, oh no, we never mix blood, apart from, you know, on the rare occasion with New Zealand, but they never, no, on no occasion did we mix blood from Hong Kong, from Malaysia, from Singapore, no. And that lie, I'm afraid, made Australian victims, put them in the international poorhouse of contaminated blood victims around the world. In the UK, they have an inquiry right now. Since 2003, British victims, British people of these mass pooled products that CSL make, the type of products they made, have been entitled to financial assistance. They've kept their homes. They've kept their families. You know, even then it's been a struggle for them. But in Australia, we've been devastated. Our victims lost everything when CSL breached their duty of candour under oath at that inquiry. But I'm going to present tonight for the first time ever to protect Australians, why we should have choice, why we should be able to say no to CSL and this COVID-19 vaccine, why we should ask for our money back. How dare the Australian government give this company another $1 billion when they've been lying? Their lies have cost lives, man. We've got people dying tonight watching this. People who've got cancer from CSL's multiple infections from their products that they mixed, like all the companies did back in the 80s. But CSL's candour has put Australian victims in the poorhouse. We've had 1,750 Australians infected with CSL products. Do you know how many are left, the Matt? Less than 200.
Not many. Yeah.
Murder, Matt. Where are the police, Matt? Seriously, where are the police? Come on, Australia. Come on, Australia. Stand up for yourselves. $1 billion of our money, and now it'll be lined up in March. You know, today, Greg Hunt went live on Sky News and congratulated the Australian media. He said, well done for not allowing, right? I forget the exact words. You can look it up. I don't want to misrepresent the man because he misrepresents all of us, doesn't he? Talks about anti-vaxxers, all the rest of it, anti-vaxxers. Where is your duty of candour, sir? I'm not an anti-vaxxer to say this. You've killed children, Greg Hunt, with this cover-up. Do you understand me? And I mean, by the way, I mean that. You know, they knew that this product, this factor 8, that they gave to children in Victoria, look it up, we shared it tonight, they gave this to children in Victoria knowing it would transmit AIDS and hepatitis C to them. And they did it, and they covered it up. Yeah. You know what? They're going to lose billions over this. That's a disgrace. I hope they actually are closed. So anyone listening tonight, please support Infected Blood Australia. Please support an inquiry into CSL and the Australian blood scandal. You can do so by going to infectedbloodaustralia.com, and there's a form on there that you can sign up as a supporter of ours. And hey, if you want to stop coerced COVID-19, dodgy, hasty, quickly arranged, billions of dollars of our money poured into these commercial companies who lie about harming Australian children and killing Australian children, if you want to say no to that, come and support our inquiry, because I guarantee you, shit's about to fly. Shit's about... Let me show you this.
Yeah, for sure.
early 90s, Democrats suggest CSL hepatitis link. There it is, guys. We're going to share it tonight. You won't find that on the internet. Another one from the Age newspaper, 6th of October, 1984. We're sharing it for the first time tonight. CSL may resume blood mixing. There you are.
Yeah. And I mean, you can't find those things anywhere. I've tried to research and find it, and it's nowhere.
Oh, no, you won't. And in fact, people, can I tell you, you're not saying, Matt? Do you know that witnesses and doctors who work for the Red Cross have been found dead in this country? Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Did you know tonight? You know, I was a bit nervous about coming on because for the first time ever, I'm sharing this with you live and for everyone else to see what put Australian victims in the poorhouse. We had a 2004 Senate References Committee that was a cover-up. Okay, CSL lobbyists basically took control of that terrible committee. Anyone want to have a look? Go look for yourself. Hepatitis C in the blood supply. And they basically said that the reason that Australian haemophiliacs would not be helped, not afforded financial assistance like they were contaminated blood victims in Canada, in the UK, in other countries, was because everything was done with best science advice. Really?
Yeah.
Science advice to mix blood from, say, maybe American prisoners into the Australian blood supply. Did Bill Clinton send some of his blood down? We've asked for many years, but guess what? They said, oh, we don't know. We don't hold any records. You'll have to ask CSL. We've asked CSL. They don't ever ask a question. What they do is breach their duty of candour under oath at inquiries. Lost. Do you know how many hundreds of people? We've lost hundreds of people in our group who've died without any help. If they're British, they get $6,000 basically a month in financial assistance, which they need. Do you know how much they get here? Zero.
Yeah.
Not from covering this up, $140 billion bucks. Mate, we're being farmed, guys. These guys are lining us up. We're not allowed to ask questions. All we're allowed to do is get sanctions and punished and told that we're bad parents or whatever. Duty of candour. It's time to stand up for the Australian law. If you love Australia and if you love our children as much as the rest of us people who've been up against these bastards, right, you'll demand duty of candour. Why are they still lying? Where's the ABC? We've asked the ABC for years to investigate contaminated blood. Why are they scared of Australia's largest company, CSL? Huh? We pay for them. Yet more Australian taxpayer money thrown down the gurgler. When is somebody going to stand up for Australia?
Yeah, it's something we have to do right now. And I think today is as good a time as any. Tomorrow, moving forwards, we need to get this information out there. So if you put that up on your page, those clippings and everything else, we need to do something like pretty major now and get this out there as much as we can and start talking to
We've got CSL victims who've got cancer right now, right through our group, less than 200 haemophilia survivors. And they got hepatitis C, which causes devastation to the liver. It causes liver cancer. We've got cancers throughout the group. We don't have one person who's not facing a life-ending condition in our group. Please help us. CSL are covering this up. We can't even get the ABC. We can't even get the Australian Labor Party. I mean, you see what the Australian Labor Party did? They chaired that 2004 committee. Do you see what they did to us? They were the only inquiry in the world to say no to helping. Why? CSL. We're getting our ass handed to us on a plate, Australia. Come on. Please support us, infectedbloodaustralia.com, and let's all get together and say, you know what? We're going back in time. We're going back to a time when Australians had choice.
I think my biggest thing that I think we can do at the moment is when we next organise a rally of some sort, we just get out the front of CSL and we get all that information out there and the media turns up and we put it on the news again. We need to do that.
I'll be there. You know, look, I'll be there. We as I said, with not too many of us alive today, CSL victims, but we'll be there. And we'll be, because we want, look, we might not make it, okay? And we might not make it. But here's the thing. The one thing that we will do is we want you Australians to have choice. That's the big lesson out of the contaminated CSL blood scandal. Okay, please don't forget about their victims. You know, it's not just CSL that have killed people. It's the Red Cross too in Australia. They've got tens of blood transfusion victims. You know, the Red Cross are involved in this. They knew what CSL were up to. Red Cross knew CSL were mixing their blood. They complained to CSL. They demanded at one point that they stop, but they didn't tell us. You see? There's all these secrets. It's Australia's biggest ever medical scandal. It's the deadliest scandal. Thousands of victims. And here we are, we're doing all the things that we got wrong in the 1980s. We're doing all over again, but worse. Now we're saying, you know what? You don't have choice.
That's right. They're taking away our choice. And that's what this next rally we need to do outside CSL has to be about pro-choice. People need to be able to have a choice. As much as they're saying they're not going to make it mandatory, they're going to make it as mandatory as possible. They're going to stop payments. They're going to stop people being able to go to schools and childcare centres. They're changing the legislation right now. If we get up there and stand up and make some noise, we need to bring your things to the light. And whether that's through independent channels like Rebel News and all these other guys, they have a really big reach now, so we can get this out to as many people as we need to. But we need...
Yep. Sorry, Matt.
I was just going to say we need mainstream media on board as well. That's the hard one. That's the biggest egg to crack. But if we're out there making noise and we have the right signage to show them this is what's happening, we need to get this back in front of them.
I think everyone watching, I agree with you, Matt, and I think you should know and everyone should know, and I will say this, okay? I won't say this lightly. You're going to find out something soon, Australia, okay? Turn up to that protest outside CSL, because you're going to find out something so monstrous it will blow your mind. Why did Australia have so many people that got HIV and hepatitis C through blood? Has anyone asked that question? Because guess what they're about to find out? And I can't tell you the full details tonight, but it's on the way. Something went wrong. Oh yeah, there was a vaccine program that went wrong in Australia. And guess what happened? You know the Chernobyl, okay? You know Chernobyl in Russia? Well, we had a Chernobyl scale event times 10. And it was to do with the vaccine program here in Australia. And it created the biggest scandal in our nation's history. It's coming out soon. I'm going to show you, Matt, and everyone else. And I don't say it lightly. You see it in that protest. Because a lot of contaminated blood, guess what? It was no accident. Oh no, it was a bungled thing that went wrong. They were after something with the blood. They were looking for certain donors. You know, did you know that? They were collecting blood from people in prisons and jails, and they were looking for people that they thought were infectious. Did you know that? And they were putting their blood into the... No, they did that. Why did they do that? Well, guess what, Australia? Very soon we're going to reveal why they knowingly contaminated Australia's blood supply. You're going to find that out. And when you see that they had a policy of using extreme risk donors, not high risk, extreme risk. No other country in the world did what Australia did with its blood supply. No one else did. Other countries did some crazy things, like America used to export blood from prisoners to the United Kingdom, etc., and killed loads of people in the United Kingdom. And it's infected people there who are surviving terrible consequences today. But here in Australia, you have to find out what we did, because it's going to blow everybody's mind. So please join us on this protest outside of CSL and keep demanding choice, and also keep demanding that we have an investigation into this company, CSL.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. So we'll keep everyone in touch with what we're going to do. I'll talk to you in the background. We'll work out a date and a time and a place where we're going to do it. And everyone just needs to turn up. Everyone needs to turn up. If you care about your kids' future, if you care about the elderly, it's everyone who's going to get this vaccine. I was speaking to people in the street today, and I heard people say, I don't want to get it first, but I'll watch someone else get it. Then I'll line up after that. I'm like, that's just crazy. Like, this is a hugely untested on human beings. It's actually a new vaccine that they're putting out there. The one that's the mRNA, which is within your DNA. Everyone's DNA is different. Everything about it is corrupt. CSL is corrupt. We know that they've killed people through their actions before.
They knowingly harmed children and killed children. They're going to go to jail, some of those people. You wait and see. You wait and see. I've seen evidence, right, where they knew that they were infecting children. And do you know what they said? Go on, keep doing it. I've seen the documents. They said, keep doing it. You know why? Because if they stopped providing those products, it would have increased their costs, because the same products would have been increased costs. These companies are evil. Do you know they actually also knowingly provided blood products that were contaminated by HIV, and they gave it to hospitals, and sometimes they'd mark the ones that were HIV free with different stickers. And that was the new stock, but you couldn't get the new stock until all the old stock had been exhausted. These monsters were giving old stock that they knew to give AIDS to children. And so basically, we're now doing this all over again, and we can't ask CSL, hey, what went on with contaminated blood? Why are we having coerced CSL vaccines when they haven't even answered as to what the hell they did with Australia's deadliest medical scandal? Does anyone that's a parent, I'll tell you this now, I am not a violent person at all, but there's a line, okay?
Yeah.
And that line is children. And companies that knowingly harm kids, or priests, by the way, okay? Priests or anyone that touches children or harms children like this terrible company, CSL, they're not going to do anyone any harm ever again. Not on our watch.
No, that's it. Well, Thank you again, Charles, for coming on. It's been amazing to hear. And I think if you can post those articles up on your page, everyone go across to have a look at Infected Blood Australia. The website is infectedbloodaustralia.com. That's the place to sign up for help and get this towards the Royal Commission. The biggest thing we can do from here is organise a date to be out the front of CSL, picketing, whether it's 100 of us or 500, it doesn't really matter. As long as you have the right information, hand the information out, get it out in front of as many people as possible, and we'll see what we can do from here. It's action time now.
Oh, it's action time now. Let's defend Australia, guys. I'll be there. I can't wait to see you. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much, Charles. See you later.
Cheers, mate. See you, mate.
There you go. That was Charles. Obviously very passionate. He was telling me in the background before, we had his friend Greg Ball on the other day, who's gone through all this hell from being a haemophiliac, getting infected blood. He's now got a really bad case of kidney cancer. He was going to come on and have a chat as well, but he's at a point where he's just trying to get the best part of his life that he can get now, because his quality of life has dropped off so much. So we need to share this out to as many people as possible. We'll have to